Hi, I'm Kristen Westberg, board member at Colorado Companies to Watch and vice chair of our alumni committee. And today I'm talking to our partners and alumni of Colorado Companies to Watch about their passion for fueling economic growth in Colorado and being a part of our incredible community. So I've got Stephen here from XeroShoes, who just did a panel. I'd love, for you to share your story and kind of how you became a part of this community.
Oh my. 17 years ago, when I was 45, I got back into sprinting after a 30-year break, and I spent the next 2 years getting injured pretty much every other week.
Yeah.
And one day, a friend of mine who's a world champion runner, I was living in Boulder, so saying world champion runner, saying my neighbor, because they're everywhere, said, and when you're running barefoot, and I'm not suggesting people do it, but changed my life. When you're running barefoot, good form feels good, bad form hurts.
Yeah.
And so I could feel some things that hurt that I couldn't feel through a regular shoe with all that foam. And this is the shortest version of the story, by paying attention to that over the course of about a week, my form changed and my running got faster, easier, lighter. And I loved that barefoot experience. But my wife was not happy about me walking into our white carpeted house in my bare feet after I'd been outside. And I got tired of arguing with restaurants about whether it was legal to go in bare feet.
Oh, wow.
It is.
Good to know.
They can have a policy, but it's not illegal. And so I decided I made some sandals based on a 10,000 idea. And people asked me to make some for them. And they told two friends and they told two friends. And finally, a guy said, I have a book coming out about barefoot running. And if you use any hobbies on that website, I can put you in the book. So I've been an internet marketer for 20 something years at that point, and I have hundreds of websites. I pitched this to my wife, who tells me that won't make any money, a waste of time and a distraction from other things we were doing. And she said, I'll make a website, and I told her I would, and then I did. And she kind of growled at me the next day, and I said, it'll be a case study for search engine business. I was one of the first guys to teach marketing in 1993.
Wow.
And so I said, it'll make a car payment. It'll be a good case study.
Yeah.
And I was wrong. It was way more than the car payment instantly. And I kind of owned weeks. And after a very short period of time, we started people saying, oh my God, these things changed my life. My wife she came up to me and said, okay, I'm all in.
Aww.
So you're going to be a product marketing piece of to manage operations and finance.
Yeah.
And that's what that was 14 years ago.
Interesting place, right? Kind of when someone you trust gives you some sort of insider recommendation, give it a shot, right? Run barefoot.
Sure.
Another maybe more of the story, don't listen to your wife. No, I'm just kidding. We won't go there.
Yeah. No, I got to tell you, early on in the business, my job is coming up with a whole lot of ideas. Her job was to tell me we didn't have them before. So then my other job was to stop whining as quickly as I could and get over it and figure out what to do next.
Yeah.
And we trust each other. We respect what each other does. And so we're, kind of in our own lanes with the Venn diagram open. Delightful.
Yeah. After last week's event, and listening to Mark Frank from Sonder Mind, I'd love to kind of understand what you took away there. And
it was just really valuable to hear somebody who's gone through a number of things, who's taken a different path than we've taken. Because sometimes you imagine that other path would be better. And when you hear someone talk about, same problems, different story, that's always fun. And it's just very helpful to be around people who look, one of the people there is one of my oldest friends. When he had money, he helped me out. When I've had some money, I helped him. We're both dealing with startup woes of various kinds. And just having the conversation to find out you're not alone is super, super helpful. I've found resources that work for them that may work for you is super helpful. So my wife says that you go into companies and vet all the marketing people who are approaching them to say, yeah, that's not you.
Right.
And I said, that's called insurance.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to buy insurance. So we can do that by getting together. And I think that's an important thing.
Amazing. So from today, what have been the most impactful learnings, experiences you've had?
The dumplings were great.
Also being made, they smelled amazing.
If there's free food, I'm in. My wife has accused me of giving away billion-dollar business ideas for a free lunch, and I go,
that's true, right?
Lunch was really I doesn't have to.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing.
No, it's interesting. I mean, we led a session earlier on sales, and my kind of co-facilitator speaker was talking about the importance of margin and saying that people that say, I'm too busy to focus, it's not a margin problem, right? Because if you can hire resources and people and technology and all those things. So it was a very
No,
but excellent.
money solves a lot. And people, there's a basic principle in marketing where if you don't know exactly how much it costs for you to sell something, then you don't know how much you can spend to get someone to buy it. And what you do know, you've got the superpower of figuring out, where you can deploy that money that's going to give you the best opportunity to make that work. And most people don't know their numbers nearly well enough. I spent years where people would present some marketing tool, project, whatever to me, and going through the math. I call it doing math at them. So I go, all right, based on this amount of money, here's what we need to be profitable. Here's how many shoes we need to sell for that. Here's what our conversion rate is on our website. So here's how many visitors I need. And they look at me like, because then I would determine what the probability is of doing this. Today, for a good friend of mine who wants to promote our stuff and get paid for it, and which I'm not going to do. And he's a friend.
We won't tell him.
So I already told him. But I did the math and I said, based on this math, I have to have 50% of the people who watch the video of you promoting us come to my website. That will never happen. So we got to figure out another way.
Yeah. No, it's amazing that you have the background you do to be able to kind of call that out.
It was doing this for 30. I mean, I've been an internet marketer for 30 plus years. So just over time, you figure it out.
Looking at the year ahead, when you think about the that we've developed with Colorado Companies to Watch, what are you most looking forward to receiving? Most looking forward to giving?
Free food.
Receiving free food.
I walk into situations like this without an expectation of what's going to happen. Typically, I end up selling some shoes.
Yeah.
Very efficient to get 40 people to buy shoes.
Yeah.
So I walk in really just kind of curious. Inevitably, I've met either people who could be helpful or things that they know that I was not aware of that could be helpful, and vice versa. Just the back and forth thing is really good. In fact, that's my favorite part, is meeting other people who are, I don't want to sound hoity-toity when I say this, but kind of in the same level-ish we are. Because if you're not within a certain range, you're dealing with so many different things. It's hard. It's hard to action. Kind of weird way of finding it. So I just want to get in conversation, see what that does. And then again, we've been through so many levels that so many people haven't gotten to yet, that if I'm really lucky, I could say something that might be meaningful. Some guy stopped me on the way out. He says, I wrote down something you said. I think it's that important. I said, if it's really helpful, you totally misunderstood me. So it's a weird thing, because some of the things that I could say, this is, they're not relevant until they're relevant. And so I like being available to, throw in my 2 cents if it's useful. If somebody asks to do it, I'm not going to just go around telling people what to do. That's in no way interesting. But hopefully from having built this thing from the floor of a corner of a spare room to where we are today, with offices in other countries and however many 100+ employees we have, and the people that we've been able to help, maybe there's something useful in it.
That's incredible. Well, thank you so much for being here today.
Pleasure.
And for sharing that feedback with us.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Awesome.